Mother, man.
Hello, this is Lars from Chronicle, and you're listening to
Metal Mayhem. Spreading faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest. It's Murder Metal Mayhem!
All right. Hell yeah.
What the fuck's up?
Got the guys from Chronicle bringing in the new episode here. It's Tuesday. We're throwing down a new Murder Metal Mayhem, and we're in Horns High Studios for the Horns High Podcast Network, episode 221 going down. Tonight, Chris, you're here tonight with me at Horns High.
Yes, I am.
Which is always nice.
Fucking right, dude.
My co-pilot here with me. And then, Joey, you're in the 419 Studios. How's it going over there in Toledoville?
Not bad. Fucking just staying busy and getting rained on nonstop.
Yeah, been a little bit of that here too, of course.
It's windier than fuck over here.
Yeah, wind has been just fucking ridiculous, man. I got the neighbors putting siding on the house, and I'm getting all that tar paper and shit blowing all over my fucking yard. And
Dude.
Yeah, the wind has just been crazy. So, all right, well,
you guys had that fucking y'all had that crazy dust storm on 55.
Yeah, on 55.
Oh, man. Yeah,
dude,
that was hairy.
Like 60, 80 car pile up or some shit like
yeah,
that.
the crops,
Like
they
six
just
people
tilled
died.
it.
Yeah, dude,
it was
fucking
really
crazy
bad over
shit.
there by Springfield. So yeah, it was crazy. I wouldn't want to have been in that shit. All right, what T-shirts we got on, Chris? What are you doing over there?
One of my many Horror Demise shirts. Fucking, I don't know. I just got a lot of them.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm sure the guys in Horrid Demise appreciate it. What about you, Joey? What are you doing?
I got the Alien 666 shirt on, which helped them dudes record a little bit of basement tracks this weekend.
Yeah, I want to talk about that in metal. That was cool. I saw that picture of you there. So.
Hell yeah. And then I got this Putrid Pile hat on, which is
I saw that too.
Gutter Christ put them out from New Jersey, and Sean got his, and there was like 4 different color logo. I saw the blue one. I was like, all right, I need to grab that. I don't
looks
even need
good.
a hat, but yeah.
Looks good. And then I got my Jack Nicholson Shining shirt on, just Jack's
Here's
face
Johnny.
over the course, fucking
Fuck yeah.
over the whole shirt, just fucking brutal. So yeah, just mixing it up and ready to do this one. It's going to be a good one tonight. Now, last week we did an interesting episode on old Danny Lee Siebert.
That dude just was weird as shit with his hair and everything.
Big old afro, cross-country fucking killing, Chris, coast to coast, from New Jersey to California and everywhere in between, men, women, children. He admits to 13. He only went down for 10.
Only 10.
Yeah, only 10. But we talked about that crazy-ass motherfucker and making a cross with the dead bodies of a woman and her 2 kids is just beyond fucked up. So it's a grotesque, gory affair, but that's Murder Metal Mayhem. And Joey, you did the metal feature on a grindcore band, right?
Yeah, Libido Airbag from fucking Germany. Fucking crazy ass shit.
That was awesome. Always love learning about shit I don't know anything about. And we did a killer cage match, always fun, and a lot more. So
all kinds of shit.
Yeah, if you missed episode 220, go check it out. We were passing 800 on that one today, so thank you, those that have already watched or listened. Tonight, we're doing a feature on an iconic name. I mean, when you talk about true crime and females, her name inevitably comes up. We're going back over 400 years, though, with this one, Chris, to the early or late 1500s, early 1600s in Hungary with Elizabeth Bathory.
Fucking right, man. Fucking blood countess.
Yeah, very, very brutal. Legendary story. Claims of 650 victims potentially. Torture, very sadistic. In this castle of horror. I mean, it doesn't get much more like classic than this one. And I think this is going to be interesting because some say she bathed in the blood of virgin girls to keep her beauty. But there's obviously some that oppose that and say it's all bullshit. So we're going to talk about it, and we're going to have our buddy Jeff Ignatowski, a very busy guy. That motherfucker is everywhere.
Yeah, I've seen fucking a lot of his posts. He's fucking all over the fucking country
He
right
is.
now.
He does so many of the shows and the cons, and we're going to talk to him tonight. He's going to be on to talk about the Blood Countess with us, so that'll be awesome. And starting out, guys, are Murdering Moms of May. So always fun. Joey, I know you love the Murdering Moms of May. We've done some good ones, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm stoked to kick it off. It's cool we got Bathory. I know some of our listeners really like our May segments, too, with the crazy females.
Oh, yeah. We've done some good ones. So, and I got the horns tonight. I'm going to be doing a feature on the amazing Danish technical death metal band Chronicle. I really dig those guys. Great stuff, and I'm going to feature them tonight. I got like a 5-minute clip of the interview I did with them that I'll play, and then the entire interview is like 55 minutes long. Will come out the day after this as a bonus episode on Friday, and then the video will be on the YouTube channel on Friday, so you can watch it, listen, whatever. It's really cool. Had a lot of fun with those guys. 3 of them were in the interview with me. So yeah, and Joey, you got a Lost Classic for us tonight, right?
I've got one. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And we're going to talk about some other metal news like what you were doing with Alien 666, and so we'll talk about that in the metal segment. Now we're going to be throwing down a new Killer Cage match, Chris, always a fun part of the show, and got 75 killers, 75 objects for them to fight with, a variable in the cage. And they're fighting to death to music even, and it's fun, and we get listeners providing random numbers so we can pick who's going to be in the cage. So
this week we have Tim Height. We got my boy Big Mike Collier.
Hell yeah,
and
Big
we got
Sexy.
a girl, Jess Brown. So
Awesome.
Thank you all. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. And we got a nasty matchup for you tonight in the cage, fighting to the death. Joey, who do we got in there tonight?
We got fucking Dennis Rader, and he's going to be fighting
yeah.
up against fucking Catherine Knight.
Oh,
God damn.
Oh, dude. Like, I wish him luck. I mean, that's going to be very brutal. So that'll be awesome. And I thought that was fitting, Murdering Moms of May, get some females in there.
Definitely.
So, yeah, Catherine Knight's a good one to start that off. Holy shit. They're going to have 2 objects and a variable in the cage and a song playing while they kill each other. So that should be fun. And BTK better hope that one of those 2 objects has no blades in it.
Right.
Because he's going to have a fucking hard time. I'm going to tell you that. He'll be lucky to leave with his fucking skin.
Dude, for real.
God damn. In one piece, hanging from a hook. So we'll do that in the Mayhem segment, as always. Big thanks to everybody listening, man. Had another big week, guys. 5,070 total listens. Fucking A, really awesome and appreciate it. And I have noticed a big spike in the number 1 episode, which is our first one, a jump higher than it normally jumps. Don't know what that means, but the spread between that one and the Columbine episode is a little broader because the first one's been picking up some steam. So whatever, man. That's awesome. Thanks to everybody. Appreciate that.
Thanks for listening to that garbage ass first episode.
Oh God, I don't know. I actually remember we did something. Maybe it was when we did some CK stuff where I had to go back
and find some shit. Yeah.
And it really wasn't as bad as my mind had remembered. Right, it was awful because of the weird configuration in my bedroom, how we had to do this.
Yeah.
You were like behind me. It was the fucking weird, but we made it work. We got through those first 40 or so episodes, and now we're in the studio.
I look at us balling.
And it's awesome. MurderMetalMayhem.com, though, that's a good place to go to get our merch and find out more on what we do. Also, that Horns High Studios Facebook page, go there and like that, follow it. so that you can stay up on what we do on Facebook. I'm still doing the Murder Metal Mayhem group, but I can't tag bands in that one, so it's kind of a pain in the ass. So right now I'm posting in both, but I would prefer going to the Horns High Studios page and just doing it all there. But we got a lot on our plate tonight, guys. Taking a little airline flight to Europe.
Fuck yeah.
Castles of Hungary should be interesting, but hoping we don't end up in a torture chamber or bathing in blood. So let's get Jeff Ignatowski on and get this shit going.
Fucking get our fucking murder on.
Oh, man.
Fucking old school.
That's some old school shit. Venom and their classic Countess Bathory. I mean, Cronus with the vocals. So fucking just iconic for me because I heard that when that was like my introduction into the more extreme metal stuff. I was listening to, Dio and Priest and Maiden and Ozzy and stuff like that, but I heard that and Slayer, Show No Mercy, and that's what took me to the dark side. So this one, classic from black metal from 1984, absolutely perfect one for this because this is how I even found out about it, was back then in that song. So brings back a lot of memories.
Fucking A.
And Jeff Ignatowski's on with us, the mastermind.
Oh, yeah.
The mastermind behind Scorpion Lair Games, and of course that means Killer's the card game as well. So how's it going, dude?
Oh man, it is incredible. Like this last weekend, I was in Indianapolis for an Oddities Curiosities, and I'll tell you, man, the last 2 years I was there, we did all right. It was a good show. We had a lot of fun. This year, I did over double in sales.
Damn, dude.
Unbelievable, man. And so I haven't even released this yet, but this weekend I'm going to Marietta, Ohio. And I think Pete has seen it, but I have a special print of The Last Supper that I just did.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I got a bunch of them printed out tonight. So
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'll have to show you guys. It's serial killers as the different people
No
around
shit,
the
that's
Last
fucking
Supper.
great.
Yeah, it's fucking nice.
yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So very cool. All right, well, we're talking tonight, guys, about Elizabeth Bathory. And Jeff, you've got that necklace there. Why don't you tell the listeners what you got going on there?
yeah, check this thing out.
Yeah,
My
if you're
buddy-
watching on video, you could see this, but if they're not, they're just listen. It's this cool casket-shaped necklace with what is inside there, Jeff?
It's got some dirt from Elizabeth Bathory's castle.
God damn,
This is awesome.
that's
fucking
awesome.
Great.
A buddy of mine, James, does all these relics of all these different,
Oh, cool.
all this different stuff, and I got it from him. It's incredible.
That's amazing and perfect timing and perfect, jewelry to be wearing. We're talking about this.
Oh, yeah.
And, this is an iconic case, as we've been saying, known throughout history as the Blood Countess. Some say she is the most prolific serial killer in history. Her story is, though, clouded in controversy with claims, that her, stories of her murdering all these peasant girls, in the late 1500s, early 1600s in Hungary was bullshit.
I mean, it's so fucking long ago that, like,
I know.
keeping records is kind of tough.
Exactly.
The myth and lore of something like that is going to
Yeah.
build, I'm sure.
And the fact the country made it illegal to say her name for 100 years
That's fucking
definitely is a fucked up extreme. But we're going to
She was
talk about it.
fucking Voldemort.
Right? Exactly. So the stories, though, endure and intrigue us in the true crime world and dark history. She's become an icon in that whole femme fatale type character. You got Cruella de Vil, the wicked stepmother in Cinderella, the evil queen in Snow White, these are all inspired by Elizabeth Bathory. She was the inspiration, of course, for Countess Dracula, and Gothic writers just loved her because she was beautiful, and the intrigue of her with these other girls and that whole sexual element, and people just
medieval lesbianism, gotta love it.
Perfect for romance novels and things of that sort. So this was just ripe for the picking, and I actually decided to write a story using her as the main character, and I'm actually the last story I'm doing for Creation of Chaos 4, but it's a conversation with her and her jailer in the middle of the night, who they have a conversation, and it's called the One Night with the Blood Countess. So it'd be an interesting one, but that'll be the last one for the book. Now, Jeff, what is it, though, about Elizabeth Bathory that seems to fascinate us? What do you think?
I think it's just, it's so long ago. The story is so prolific.
Right.
And we talk about the unbelievable amount of killings that are possible. And, over the years, especially back in, dark times, right? The dark ages,
right.
As we're coming out of all of that, there's so much fanciful, mystical ideas. And a person like this, those ideas and that mysticism kind of revolves around them. And you see all these things, just like Vlad the Impaler, right?
Right, for sure.
Similar kind of time frame. And all of these stories come up because of their exploits. Now, however true they were, who knows? People still believe that the dead were going to come up out of the ground. Of course, there's still people that believe that now. But it's interesting, and it's fascinating that we have this figurehead from so long ago that still influences our culture today. And
right.
Not even just with, the stuff that you already mentioned, but if you look at, our people in Hollywood right now, they're looked at very, very much the same way.
Right.
And it's fascinating to look at the parallels between the two.
Yes, it is. It is definitely seems to continually fascinate. It certainly puts, butts in the seats, as they would say. Now, Chris, you said you're...
It reminds...
Go ahead, Joe.
I was just going to say, it reminds me of like when we did the H.H. Holmes episode, and
right.
how a lot of the story behind H.H. Holmes was an exaggerated thing. But
right.
at the same time, me being fascinated with, the darker stuff or whatnot, I like the story of what H.H. Holmes was. I like the story of what Bathory was.
Right.
More than probably what, probably more than what the reality was. And it's good to know the truth. But at the same time, the monster that came out of those characters is what, still fascinates at least me mostly.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, dude. Yeah.
And along the same lines, as a Yankee fan, I remember I was so pissed off. There was some documentary that they were trying to say that the called shot from Babe Ruth wasn't really a called shot, and that he was pointing to the Cubs dugout and not, right field or whatever it was. And it's like, you know what? Like, that's just such a cool fucking story. Just leave it the fuck alone, and let's just pretend that it happened, because it's fucking Babe Ruth. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude's pounding beers and eating hot dogs by the bucket load and hitting home runs left and right. I mean, leave him alone. So, yeah. But no, I agree with you guys. I think it's all, it's the story is just that you don't want to, not believe that Holmes did what he did, And this one, like we've been saying, is so long ago. And, Chris pointed out the records were terrible. I mean, in some ways. But, Chris, you said your daughter's really into Countess Bathory,
yeah,
right?
For whatever reason, I don't know. She just like a while ago, when we've been a couple of years, she's like, you guys need to do Elizabeth Bathory really bad. And she like wrote this whole poem that was badass. And she was actually just over the weekend, and I told her, and she's like, well, that sucks because I can't be there to record my poem. And I was like, well, do you have it here or do you know it? She's like, no. I was like, too bad, because if you did, I could record you right
There
here
you
now.
go.
But she didn't. It's a long one, so she didn't have it memorized. She didn't have it with her, so
Okay.
unfortunately, because it's really good.
Yeah, that's interesting, though. Talking about another generation and a spawn of Shawback, following
Right.
the Countess Bathory. Not such a surprise there. So, but that's cool, though. That really is. Now, Joey, of course, for extreme metal bands, this is just the perfect type of stuff. And I played the Venom classic that we were just listening to, Countess Bathory. But what about any that you wanted to mention? Any good ones you felt like talking about?
Yeah, some metal influenced Bathory influenced metal songs. A few I was going to bring up, of course. There's a band called Bathory,
Right.
Right.
Of course.
They're badass, but they have a song called "Woman of Dark Desires" that's specifically about Countess Bathory. And then 1989, Tormentor came out and they did the song Elizabeth Bathory. Tormentor's badass. And then Dissection, like 6 years later, covered that song, the Tormentor song, Elizabeth Bathory. So they did that, Dissection. Cradle of Filth, they did the Bathory Araya, which is fucking huge. And actually,
no, I was listening to that album today because we're doing Bathory. That entire album is Cruelty and the Beast. The entire album,
Cruelty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The entire album's Bathory fucking bass shit.
Interesting.
A bigger band, one that I'm not so big on, but Ghost, they got a song called Elizabeth about Elizabeth Bathory.
Oh, okay.
Slayer, they did the song Beauty Through Order, which I can't remember. It was on one of the more recent albums, which was kind of wild. It took as long as it did for Slayer to do a song about Bathory.
Yeah, really.
And then the last one I was going to bring up isn't a metal song, but it's still a pretty good cut. And it's Susie and the Banshees, and they did a song in Execution, which is about Bathory. So.
Nice.
Fucking
Yeah, some good stuff there that you mentioned. Some I didn't know about, so definitely going to check out some of that shit. Now, for me, as I mentioned, it was that Venom song, but, listening back to that, it just, anytime you listen to something from your teen years, I think it seems to hit home. 1984, that would have been right when I was getting into that kind of stuff, and when I started playing bass and getting into the band world. But, I learned more about her story as time's gone on, kind of every now and then. Never been a huge, vampire fan. So it wasn't really anything that really drew me to it other than, the just insane stories of the bathing in blood. So we're going to talk about it. Elizabeth Bathory, born into Hungarian nobility in 1560. She was said to be very beautiful. She grew up in, I like to call, the Game of Thrones era. I mean,
basically
brutal, fierce battles, crazy shit, torture, just nonsense, just craziness. And she spent her entire childhood in the Exed Castle, I think that's how you pronounce it, in eastern part of Hungary. Her father was Baron George Bathory, who was the head of Transylvania.
which goes with the vampire shit.
Totally, yeah, right? You're throwing in all these words with the title of Voivod, so that means everybody's going to take a drink.
Yep.
Because that's a band name. So
Got it.
all right. So if you guys are playing at home, take a drink, a smoke and a drink, whatever you're going to do. Her parents were actually first cousins.
I was going to say, yeah.
So we got a little bit of that going on here, which could definitely explain some of this, just insane behavior. And Jeff, I saw her mom was a baroness who also came from nobility. So, what was her background here?
Yeah, she came from all of that nobility. So, you mentioned the Game of Thrones, right?
Right.
And we watched that show that, of course, is, pretty an interest. We like to think that it's all fiction, but those people really live like that, right?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, holy
it was
shit.
all about land. It was all about money and power.
Right.
The nobles controlled everything. The peasants had nothing.
Right.
And so, these people would, wield their power and do whatever they wanted. And there was this kind of idea of, who's going to marry who so that they can get more power and more land, and who's going to backstab who so that they can steal somebody's power and influence.
Right.
So, the fact that on both sides of her family she came from nobility is incredible. And I'm sure that influenced a lot of how she grew up, because she never lived in squalor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Had
She
no
didn't
idea
come
of
from
what
the
it would be
street.
like to not be wealthy beyond your wildest dreams. I mean, you're talking about like literally like the top dog. There's nobody has got more money than your family, and they just run the whole fucking show. I mean, it's pretty. You could imagine growing up like that. You're obviously going to have a very skewed fucking vision of the world. I mean, she's related to kings, princes, bishops. I mean, you got all these, whether they be politicians or clergy. And at that time, the clergy was a big fucking deal.
Of course.
So, these are some big power players, and they're all locked in with within her family. She had several siblings. Her older brother was the Judge Royal in Hungary, or maybe it's Royale, like they say in Pulp Fiction.
Oh, it's probably Royale.
Royale
cheese.
with cheese. So they were all part of the aristocracy, loaded with cash, treasure, and lots of property, including several castles. They were also known for being very cruel and violent, so she's got that in her blood. But in 16th century world, this is pretty rampant, like we've been saying, that whole Game of Thrones shit going down. And Chris, it's interesting though that she had some issues with seizures. Did you see that?
I thought it might be epilepsy, but it probably was. They just didn't know what the fuck epilepsy was back then, I'm sure.
Right.
Like they just see somebody freaking out and they'd have no idea what the fuck's going on. Like, why is this
It's
happening?
the devil.
Right.
Yeah, right. I'm surprised he didn't fucking kill her.
Yeah, right.
Like, for real.
Exactly.
But I mean, like head injuries, though, you fucking fall out into a seizure, start crop flopping on the floor, you're going to be slamming your head.
Right.
And all their shit was made out of stone, too. There ain't no carpet or nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Not a very comfortable thing there. Now, Joey, I did see that epilepsy was originally called falling sickness, but do you think that if someone fell down their basement stairs and lost their teeth,
Fuck
would
you.
they be the victim of falling sickness?
I
Joey,
absolutely
do you-
believe that is falling sickness.
fuck you.
And I'll say that Jawback's lucky that there is carpet nowadays.
Oh, damn. Yeah, if this was at Bathory's Castle, dude, you would have probably been still
Right.
down there in the basement. So, wow.
Be hitting the meat hard.
Can you imagine Can you imagine Michael running around in a castle with all them stones and metal and shit?
The big
Oh, my
swords
God.
and the big
Yeah,
battle
oh,
axes.
God.
Yeah, that would be, interesting. So, yeah, I had to throw that in there. I thought that would be fun for you, Chris.
Yeah.
That was such a great Mayhem story. I mean, that was awesome.
That was good.
So I read that back when they treated epilepsy, obviously in strange ways, like they did with a lot of these illnesses, but there was one way I saw to rub the blood of a person that didn't have epilepsy on your lips,
Fucking A.
which is interesting.
Makes
that
sense.
she's later, of course, later called the Blood Countess for her thirst of blood. So you kind of wonder if that's where,
Hey, I
you
mean,
know,
that
that
makes
whole
sense.
thing got started. You know what I mean? Who knows?
Probably, she should have probably used fucking leeches and cocaine. Shit.
So I also saw that they were given a piece of a skull if they were coming out of an epileptic attack. And I don't know if that was to bite down so you didn't bite your tongue, or
I don't-
if it's like a pinch between the teeth and gums like a fucking skull, or what the fuck, and why is it a pice of a skull?
Exactly. Well,
Dude, it's amazing that anybody ever survived back then.
Right?
like for real, bro.
Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think, Joey, Jeff? I mean, what is the deal with the skull? Like,
Dude,
were they
that's
like
wild.
biting down on it to like not bite their tongue? You think, or
You're talking about a time in history where there were all kinds of crazy ass remedies for things, right?
right?
You put things underneath your thigh, right? Some weeds and shit underneath your thigh,
Right.
and it cures things.
Right.
There are all kinds of crazy ideas.
Right.
And, we look at it now and we think, what the fuck were they thinking about?
Right.
But if you look at some of the weird shit that we do, I mean,
Right.
how many people out there are hanging out with their crystals?
Right.
Put them on their fucking forehead and shit. Not that I'm opposed to it.
Of course.
Because I know plenty of those people.
Sure.
But I think it's hilarious. It's not any different.
Right.
And that makes a lot of sense.
Right. That's a good point, dude. That's a good point. So Jeff, I saw that Elizabeth was actually raised Protestant, and she was pretty well schooled. That's for sure, man.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. She, just like a lot of people that had money back in ancient history, and even now, people in other countries know 3 or 4 languages.
It's unbelievable.
And, here in the U.S., we look like dumb fucks because we can barely learn the English language.
Right, I was gonna say.
Right. No, I interview these bands from these other countries, and I'm blown away at how good their English is. I mean, completely blown away.
It's unbelievable that that people from other countries are so well educated and they understand things so well. You just look at people that come to this country and end up opening up successful businesses.
Right.
Yeah. They have businesses all over the place. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But she's the same way. Being raised that way, she's got lots of money. She has the best of everything.
Right.
So she can get the right schooling. She can get the right, tutors in there to teach her all that stuff. She has the right physicians. Nobody else has that. So, it's no wonder that she ended up feeling the way that she did and that she felt very entitled because she was.
Right. That's true, dude. That's true. And it's just, you makes you wonder, if she had been raised in a more normal upbringing, but then you just had one or the other. There was no middle class. You're either a peasant or you're living like this, then there's no in between.
Right.
So, it's one or the other, and it's hard to even wrap your mind around it sometimes. But she was known to love the sight of blood and witnessed, this is just so fucking brutal.
Dude, this shit's fucked.
A man being sewn into the body. Was the horse dead or alive?
Dead horse.
That's what I thought. But I was wondering when I wrote this, like, wouldn't that have been fucked up if it was like, if somehow it could have been alive?
That would have been stupid.
I wonder if this is where Lucas got the tauntaun.
So he's got to hack his way out of this dead horse, and she loved watching that. Like
could you imagine fucking you're
Daddy, can we go feed the ducks? Or Daddy, can we go watch your man hack himself out of the corpse of a horse?
Dude.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Could you imagine that? They just sew your ass into a fucking horse with your head sticking, looking like fucking goddamn Ace Ventura coming out of the rhino and shit.
So she is, what's that?
Back in the day, and this is the same era, right? The Marquis de Sade,
yes,
is around in Paris during this time, right? And this guy is, fucking people up all over the place and, having all these crazy sex parties and everything.
Right.
And I just imagine, Bathory sitting there watching this and getting super excited and touching herself.
I have no doubts.
Oh, yeah.
I have no doubts.
I bet there was quite a bit of that going down. So.
Come here, boy, eat this pussy.
So, and another thing, too, which was very common, unfortunately, is these people would beat the servants. So these kids grew up seeing that and just thinking that was normal and kind of their right. Now, Chris, we're going to 1575, and what happens with old Countess Bathory?
She's at the ripe old age of 14. She's getting up there in age a little bit.
Yeah.
How's it going, girl?
Got some grass on the field,
So she gets this basically arranged marriage between another fucking politically high fucking family and whatnot.
Right.
Fucking dude named fucking Count. Oh, I can't even.
Ferenc
Natasty. Fucking gotta love those names, man.
Yeah, there's some good ones.
Yeah. But yeah, they end up with a whole bunch of fucking property and land and shit. And
Yeah, because he's fucking all aristocracy
he's loaded
himself.
as well. So there again, there's that feeling of entitlement thrown into. You're married to this guy now at 14 years old, and now you got all this other shit. So now you feel even more in power and just ready to just like, what else can I get?
Right.
Come on, guy.
Yeah, and now she's getting ready to hoe out here in a second. Yeah. So they were the attractive couple, you know, like we referenced earlier, pop culture, you know, the Prince Harry, Meghan thing, Brad Pitt, Angelina, you know, of their era. You know, they're good looking, they're loaded with money and all of that. But these two were the murderous couple, though, kind of like Fred and Rose West, or Ken and Barbie.
Definitely more like Ken and Barbie because they look good and they were murderers.
That's
Fred
true.
and Rose,
yeah, a little rough.
I don't know. I got to tell you, I think Rosemary West is kind of hot for back in the day.
I thought you were talking. I thought you were talking about Fred, Jeff. That's right.
No.
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure. So, Joey, I did see that Elizabeth was pregnant, though. So she's, you know, like the fucking Lifetime movie, fucking 15 and pregnant going on here. Out of wedlock child. So what was up with that?
It was out of wedlock. It wasn't her husband's. It was a supposedly one of the peasants in the town.
Yeah, how dare she?
So they kind of swept that under the rug, and the baby was raised by, I guess, a family friend, something like that.
Fucking bastard child.
But the thing is, I don't know if back then, like maybe 14, 15 was the common age to marry and have kids.
I don't know. I know they had them really young, so it's very possible there was no fucking age. It was like whatever.
Right.
I don't know.
It is kind of crazy though. Like, I don't know if it's because her husband was just so ashamed because it wasn't his kid or whatnot, but you would think that back then in those times that even the family would have made sure that that kid was brought up to some kind of nobility because it had, you know, partial blood in it, even though it was tainted. He wouldn't get like a high seat at the table or nothing, but, you know, you still would have. I mean, I guess it was raised by a family friend, so it was somewhat close, but
it's like fucking Ramsay on Game of Thrones, dude, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of times back then, you know, those illegitimate children, because there were a lot of
You think?
Nobility was coming down to get some of that peasant dick. So, you know, when that happens, you know, a lot of times they'll raise those kids for a little while, but then Uncle so-and-so who wants the throne will end up killing the kids because they don't want them to have a claim.
Right.
Okay.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Because you're talking about a lot of fucking money on the table here.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
It's like, this half-breed ain't getting it.
Right. So I did hear, though, on one of the documentaries I watched that the peasant who got her pregnant was castrated by the Bathory family and thrown to a pack of wild dogs.
Dude.
That's pretty fucking brutal. Totally fitting that whole Game of Thrones thing going on.
I think that happened in Game of Thrones, honestly.
Yeah. I'm sure. I didn't watch a lot of it.
If she ends up, if the stories behind Bathory are true with her sadism and how fucking cruel she was, can you imagine how much she loved this, that she fucked that dude, got to fucking have his kid and have him get fucking killed.
She came again when his balls got cut off.
Yeah, it very, very likely could have been like a Carla Faye thing with her getting off on some extreme violence. Like
she
that.
might have fucking suggested the fucking castration in dogs herself, for all we know.
Yeah, who knows,
very
man?
much.
Who knows?
You know what's wild about that shit is we talk about it all the time now with like serial killers and stuff, and the way that they grew up and the things that they saw and how it influenced who they became later on.
Right.
And you look at like medieval times and the brutality that they witnessed on a daily basis.
Right.
Like, how did that not fuck those people up?
Right.
going out there and committing all kinds of crimes.
Right.
Right.
It's a good point. man.
Beheadings and like public beheadings and shit all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And people just like fighting in the street, killing each other, and they'd be walking past dead bodies all the time, just laying there in the street.
Yeah, it's
nobody
fucked
doing
up.
anything about it. and
It's
shit.
fucked up, man. It's hard to even imagine it, really, But there was some controversy on what exactly happened with that baby and who raised the baby. Did it even happen? Of course, his family's gonna, not want anybody to think that ever even happened. But the husband, that Ferenc, I seen that he was pretty fucking violent too, because he doused a female servant of his naked in honey and left her to stand outside and be eaten by insects.
Fucking right.
Now that's some fucking sick ass fucking metal shit for sure. I mean, that eaten by insects should be a band name. If it's not, then somebody fucking get on that, okay? Because I'm throwing them at you guys left and right. I mean, you could write albums worth of material with the shit we talk about.
Yeah, for real.
Albums worth of this shit.
It's happened.
So you metal bands need to be fucking taking some notes here. All right, Jeff. The Elizabeth learns that the business of the family, has to be run. So she just fucking takes charge, man. How does that all go down?
Yeah, so she, her husband was known as the Black Knight of Hungary and known for his brutality.
Right.
So he was going out there and fucking people up on the regular. Not like the Black Knight from oh shit. God damn it. The one where they cut off his head and everything.
Right. I know the movie. I can't think of the name.
Son of a bitch. But anyway, Monty Python.
There you go.
Monty Python. All right. But during that time, there was a long war from 1593 to 1606.
Yeah.
They were wars between the Protestants and Catholics who obviously have been fighting for hundreds and hundreds of years.
My God.
And, constantly going after each other.
I mean, they still do it.
Yeah. If you go over to Ireland, right? They're still fighting all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So, Hungary was the center for all of that. And for those of you that don't know, my last name is Ignatowski, and I'm a Polak, right? And half of my family is from Hungary. So, not that they were hungry, but they probably still are.
Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of war going on. And the Turks, were fucking brutal. I mean, all these people were just fighting like constantly. So Elizabeth's family, both her family and the in-laws, lent the actual country of Hungary money since the war was depleting all their funds. She had to defend her husband's estates. She's got this staff. I mean, she is running the fucking show here.
With a fucking strong hand.
Yeah.
Pimp hand strong.
Think about that shit. Her family lent the country money.
Right.
That's how much money you have.
I know.
Jesus
It's
Christ.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And, she's running the fucking show here, but Ferenc, he also taught her how to torture the servant girls, and they've got these torture chambers that they found when they did their investigation, which we're going to get to. So between her father, her husband, all the shit she's seen, I mean, this is setting this up for one hell of a fucking bloodbath here.
You're getting ready for some vile shit.
Yes.
Violent shit.
Now, 1601, a woman by the name of Anna Davoya joined the household staff. She was a witch and apparently a big influence on Elizabeth. And apparently she also was the one that was teaching her how to kill these girls. Some believe that this is where she got the ideas of homosexuality or bisexuality. And, Elizabeth, she's got this family behind her, so she's got the power to do whatever the fuck she wants without any penalty in her eyes. When a priest at their church made some kind of comment about these suspicious deaths, she made a huge fucking scene in the church and stormed out.
I'm out, bitches.
Basically telling him to fuck off. So, I mean, again, at that time, the clergy was very highly regarded and very powerful. And she's just like, fuck you. And so
I don't want to hear it.
she just doesn't want to hear this shit. So Chris, she's got 5 kids. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I've seen
with Ferenc. So
fucking
that's how she ended up.
Yeah, of course that's how she ended up on her fucking the moms of murdering mothers of May.
Right.
Fucking but yeah, I saw that like didn't only 2 of them reach maturity? Like I think 3 of them died before they even fucking got very old.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about the kids, but
So, yeah, I think I only
Because they were
heard that.
putting those fucking skulls in their mouth.
Oh, that's what it was. That makes fucking sense. All
little
right,
pinch
all right.
between the teeth and gums, man.
Yeah,
a little
God
piece of
damn.
skull. Maybe that's what skull. You know, I mean, who knows? You know, I don't
Skull,
know.
yeah. Let me get
who
a tip of that
knows?
skull. Fuck. Yeah, she's but now she's about to get into some fucking crazy ass shit.
Right.
That
Yeah, if
built
even a
the
quarter of what she did is real,
Yeah.
it's fucking insane.
now it's time to do that shit that like built the story of Elizabeth Bathory.
Right.
Now-
So we've set the table here. Now, Joey, her husband gets sick in 1601. And so how does that kind of set off a little bit of a chain of events here?
Well, he gets sick and then gets paralyzed. He only makes it 3 more years and dies in 1604. But
Right.
he left her obviously very, very wealthy. She had 7 castles. Like,
to
Think of the
herself.
staff just
Yeah.
to take care of a castle
Yeah.
castle.
times 7. That's a fucking huge ass amount of people.
can you party in 7 castles? Like,
I don't
every
know.
week,
Every night a different
one every
castle.
day, yeah. But man, if she, yeah, like you said, if even a fucking portion of what she's talking about or her story is true, like, man, I bet every one of those fucking places saw some kind of horrors going down in them, you know?
Oh, you know
Right.
they did.
Oh,
Everyone.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Fucking, she's left fucking super, super wealthy. This is at a time too that fucking, you know, men pretty much are ruling everything. So she is definitely a cog in the wheel in that fucking society. And
That's what I'm
I don't-
wondering, man. She's pissing off some people.
Yeah.
I gotta think these men are like, what the fuck? You know, what's going on?
you
over
gotta
there?
you gotta wonder too. I mean, she's hanging out because the witch that moved in and shit, you know, probably still hanging out.
Right.
Because she's now alone and because she's in that kind of society with them kind of assets and stuff, she might even feed into more of the story that became Elizabeth Bathory because she wanted people to fear her and fucking respect her. And that was the way that she could do it in those times, medieval times.
Yeah.
Well,
Medieval
Well, I
times.
I think when you talk about like people that are, you know, that she pissed off, like you already mentioned when she walked out of that service,
Right.
you know, there is
Yeah.
nobody during that time that you could piss off more and be in more trouble than
Right.
the church.
Exactly.
Right,
The fact that
right.
She's consorting with known witches.
Right.
Dude, she's in deep shit because the
Right.
church will pull whatever they can to take care of those people. You do not turn your back on the church in the mid ages.
Right. Especially like you said, in the middle of a service, you know, not cool. So yeah, so that's, you know, very interesting. And so she's just pissing off a lot of people. And you know, women are not supposed to do this in their eyes, you know. The servants would say that after the husband died, though, she became even more violent and cruel. Apparently, she had more than 400 girls over the years that she lured to the castle from nearby farming villages. She owned like dozens of the villages themselves. So these
Right.
people could not say no to her. And once she was done with a servant, or if they pissed her off, she was known to toss them over the wall to be torn apart by wolves. So,
Like,
now, I know this is a stretch for you guys, but this is not, I'm not bullshitting you. Everybody has to take a drink because I know a band who's a buddy of mine and he's got a song called Torn Apart by Wolves. So
That makes sense.
So it's a metal band with a song Torn Apart by Wolves. So take a drink.
Give me a reason.
So I'm just saying, I mean, if you're drinking along with us, you know, these are points that need to be made.
Fucking right.
Now, Jeff, tell us about Elizabeth's key people here, her close-knit group. I mean, this was kind of a cast of characters.
Yeah, so you already mentioned that Anna Davoya, and that she was, you know, kind of her main confidant that kind of helped her out. And she was also very much into witchcraft and doing all of those things. And then she had a girl named Iona Joe.
Yeah.
It's a funny
kind
name.
of a weird one, yeah.
My brother's name is Joe. My dad's name is Joe. So I've been around a lot of Joes my life. But she looked after Elizabeth.
So they're not loners then, right? I'm Lona Joe.
So that chick looked after her kids and apparently didn't do a great job of it because, as we mentioned, it seems like a couple of those kids died pretty early. She had a friend named Dorca, which is always a funny name.
Right.
And Catalin, who took care of the laundry.
Right.
And then there was Fizzico, and he was
Fitzko.
the only guy. How do you pronounce it?
Fitzko.
Fitzko. There we go.
Yeah.
I can barely pronounce English. So
fucking right.
So Fitzko there was a teen dwarf, and he was disabled.
Right.
A little person running around, the only guy in a sea of women.
Right.
I wonder if she ended up having any kids with him.
Dude, that
I
is
would
like the
doubt he was
strangest
probably
thing
slaying
ever.
it over there at the castle.
Probably
man.
so.
Yeah.
He had all
They
those,
call him tripod for real because he just leaned forward and he doesn't go nowhere.
Oh man, yeah, that's quite the staff she's got there. So poor Fitzko, he's a disabled dwarf that's hanging out with the females. I can't imagine the time of the month over there for him. He had
Oh my God, because you know they're all in cycle.
I bet he went to one of the other castles and was like, fuck
he's
this,
like,
I'm
out.
going to the other one.
This week I am done.
So
You know
Chris,
they were stapling it all too.
right?
Rubbing it all over the face.
Oh man, yeah.
Now, Chris, if one of the servants though did anything wrong, I mean, this is some crazy shit here.
They get fucking tortured pretty fucking bad. Like simple shit, just like if one of the sewers would fuck up just a little bit of a stitch somewhere.
Right.
She ended up fucking in one of these rooms and just getting jabbed with sewing needles. If it was Albert Fish, he'd be about it.
Right.
He'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm fucking this stitch up. I'm going to the room.
And put it in my ass.
Yeah, put it in my ass, dude. Fuck yeah.
Light it on fire though first.
God damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking just simple shit like that. And they just get the most horrendous torture. They be throw them naked in cages and have them stabbed with spears and shit while old Fitz goes down there. Hey, you dumb bitch.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have fucked up.
Get this little dwarf screaming obscenities at him while they're in the cage getting stabbed with spears. Sounds like some killer cage match shit going on here. Like, what the fuck? Like real killer cage match.
You gotta fucking add Fitzko to the killer cage match.
Totally got to add Fitzko to the killer cage match. At least there's a variable. At least there's a variable.
Yeah.
Imagine Fitzko drinking like a quart of fucking whiskey at the Nation and going down to the fucking cage match. So yeah, this is just wild.
Fantasy Island and shit.
Right. So Joey, these girls are stripped naked for the tortures, which again adding to the whole sexual nature of it. But you see the burning pubic hair with candle thing going on?
Yeah, and I mean that should have been a fucking lesson back then that get rid of that goddamn pubic hair. We don't want that shit.
Right.
It took a long time after this for them to figure that out.
The fucking brush fire going on.
Yeah.
Brush fire.
Yeah, she did brutal ass shit. I saw her. She took them like she would fucking sit them outside naked, fucking dump water on them and let them fucking freeze.
That's fucked. Like literally freeze in place. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
they
fucked.
put like fucking the needles under the fingernails. I think it was the same thing like Chris was saying with the sewing needles when they'd fuck up too. But put the needles under the fingernails and be like, if you fucking scream, you're a whore, basically, and
Yeah.
fucking.
If it
or
hurts
you
the
take them
whore,
out,
she could pull it out.
Yeah, and then if they would, and then if it would hurt bad enough, and they're like, okay, well, I'm a whore, I'm going to take this out of my fucking hand because that's stupid.
And now I'm going
Right.
to go
She'll be
get
like,
laid.
well,
Fuck you.
Yeah, but then she's got to take your hand and cut the goddamn finger off.
Right.
So,
Then she would cut it off
So-
with the knife. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
fucking
so-
crazy. So
Either
she's up
way,
about
you
the
gotta decide.
psychological torture. Kind of
Yeah, she
reminds
was
me of
brutal.
Army basic training there with
Dude.
the psychological shit they used to do to us to freak you out and fucking make you get mad and shit. So yeah. So this is just an awful fucking situation. And, she is known to just have a really bad fucking temper. So you got all this sick shit going on, and it could be part of an exaggerated legend. We just don't know. But there are some historians that believe a lot of it was true. She reminds me of the Nazi Joseph Mengele, the angel of death, with all the shit he did. And most of these legends are born from fact, but we just don't know how much of it was actually embellished or not. We don't know. But it is
Well,
still
and-
fun to talk about. Joey, what were you
when
going to
you
say?
got like I was gonna say when you're talking about Mangala and you're talking about Elizabeth Bathory and shit, the thing about these people, they didn't have any kind of fucking consequences to worry about. So if they were into all this fucking crazy shit and they were doing shit, they definitely could have kept doing it. They had the means to do it, and they weren't going to get in any kind of trouble for doing it. So fucking their sick desires or whatever could easily just keep increasing and increasing and stuff.
Yeah, I think you're right, dude. I think you're exactly right. So definitely some sick shit going on here, and you want to call it bloodlust, whatever, sadism. I mean, I think this is all of that rolled up into one. I mean, she's got all the money and the power, and she could literally do whatever she wants for the time being. But Jeff, we do know some stuff about Elizabeth Bathory from court transcripts. What did you find out about that?
Yeah, so, they went and investigated all of this stuff, and that's where they found all these claims of murder and torture. I watched a documentary, it's been some time, where a lady, she's like the foremost expert on Elizabeth Bathory, and she went through all the original court documents that they have and
Right.
looked through that and, kind of pulled out some of the testimony from some of her, some of the handmaidens that she had. So there were several of them
Right.
that went and talked about, this is where they believe that some of the legends came from, because some of these girls really had a lot of reason to get her put into jail and to get her thrown away because, maybe they had been tortured, maybe there was a lot of stuff, maybe there were girls that died, but it was in their best interest, because if she got out and she was still in control, they were certainly not going to be around anymore.
Right.
So, there's a lot of that. But of course, then there's the big legend that we all talk about, and it's the
Right.
bathing in blood.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no real evidence for that. It was never mentioned in court.
Right.
But, that legend sprung up, and, there's even a couple movies about it that chronicle Bathory and show scenes of her bathing in blood.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely very sensational, and you could see why, because, of the whole concept of it and the whole blood of virgins to kind of rejuvenate herself. And, like you said, they went through all the records. They're not finding anything that seems to be legit about that.
I
I'm
didn't
sorry,
realize when you mentioned it earlier about the whole thing with epilepsy, and they believed that you could take the blood and use that. And, maybe there is some truth behind that. Maybe she was doing it
Oh, yeah.
because,
That's
she
interesting.
she was getting older and she was having more and more health problems, and they were trying to figure out a way to cure her of all the health problems. You know,
Who knows?
That's a
man?
possibility.
Yeah,
makes sense.
It is a possibility, especially with somebody with unlimited resources. Could literally just have kid or women killed to provide the blood for her to be able to therapy, blood therapy or whatever. So, yeah, that's a very interesting angle I had not thought of. That's cool. Now, another rumor that circulates with Elizabeth Bathory is the fact, was she a lesbian or at least bisexual?
I totally feel like she was getting down with whoever the fuck she wanted.
Yeah, I agree. And another possible motive for the family stepping in, and trying to get her thrown in prison over the crimes, so they could take over her fortune, because like we've been saying, there's a lot of money here. And, and also to kind of keep this thing quiet, because, that kind of thing getting out, from the nobility of the sadism and the homosexuality, and this would not look good, to the church, of course, for sure, but, to the general public who, is being told to follow, the church and all that. Yeah. So it's difficult to say how much of this shit was embellished to kind of fit whatever narrative, they were trying to push, or as Goremonger would say, disfiguring the narrative. Mm-hmm. So everybody take a drink, huh?
I'll drink up.
So there you like that, Joey? I threw that in there. So
I appreciate it.
It worked, though, really. Now, Chris, none of the accounts from the servants of Elizabeth's trial mentioned the bathing in blood. So what do you think about that?
I think if it was true, these bitches are just so scared of her anyway. They're like, yeah, I don't want to be part of that bloodbath that way.
Right.
Like, if I fucking talk and she doesn't get put to death and gets me back, she's going to kill me, dude.
Right. I like Jeff's idea, though, about potentially being a therapy for the epilepsy. I hadn't really thought of that, even though we did mention it about the lips. But, hey, if it's going to work on the lips,
soak that shit in.
How is it not going to work on pussy lips?
Yeah.
And you can't really, Joey, you can't really bathe in blood, or you can't really get blood on the pussy lips unless you're bathing in it, right? It makes sense. It makes sense. And if you're going to bathe in it up to your pussy lips, you might as well go all the way. Calgon, take me the fuck away.
You could get blood on your pussy lips if you sever the head and then rub the severed stump on your vagina.
That's possible too. There you go. So some options here. I'm just throwing it out there on the table, but I like Jeff's idea, legit though, that it could have been something with the epilepsy, and I hadn't really thought about that. Now I did hear one story of a servant that was combing her hair, pulled it a little bit, hurt her, and she slapped the servant girl, and apparently the girl's nose bled. And that's where Elizabeth first noticed that the blood seemed to rejuvenate her skin.
Oh, look at the magic power of this girl's blood.
Yeah, so that, again, that could very easily have been made up. Who knows? But, these are these legends, and that's what, there's a sort of fun about, even though this is obviously very dark, some sort of, fun of talking about this stuff because it seems so absurd. But, that mirror, mirror on the wall shit, that's where it comes from, the vanity that she had of getting old.
And that's why they murdered the younger girls, too, because they're getting older and these younger girls are more beautiful than they are. It's like, no, I can't be having that.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's the whole stealing the vitality, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Trying to grab that youth and thinking that that the life force is in the blood.
Right.
So if that life force is there and I'm now immersed in that life force, does that, turn the clock back on me?
Sure. Yeah.
Two things that make me that make me think about this is growing up, one of my favorite movies was The Dark Crystal.
And the Skeksis, man.
Yeah, and a big part of that is they steal the essence from the beings, the critters,
right,
and take so they can be younger, and it's the exact same shit, but not as gruesome for the fucking TV screen. But and then another thing too is like the idea of something that can reverse time, that can regenerate, your youth or whatever. Right. It's the same shit like fucking Christopher Columbus or whatever coming over, and they're looking for the or whoever it was, Ponce de Leon, whoever it was looking for the Fountain of Youth,
Right.
And they were convinced that there were this magical waters or these springs that could do the same thing. So it's the same. Everybody's, these people are looking for the same kind of thing. Someone about it in a different way or whatnot. But if you have the idea that that's a possibility that you can do that, then you're going to go to extreme lengths to make that happen one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, think about people today. I mean, men and women both. That the hair dye to dye the gray out of your hair. Going to the gym to look good. Noxzema cream, all these creams and the fucking industry is fucking raw with all this stuff that people are trying to, look younger. I mean, it's been, I think we were talking about something that's literally been around since the fucking dawn of fucking time with people just wanting to look younger and not wanting to deal with getting old because there's some negative things about it. That's for damn sure. I definitely can relate to that.
Man, it fucking sucks bad. Sometimes you get drunk, fall downstairs, and lose your teeth. Fuck.
Now, Joey, it's 16:09, and some complaints are coming in. So somebody's asked to speak to the manager here. What's going on?
Down, down, down. Red Knight going down. So the staff at these I don't know if it's one castle or all of them, but they're running out of room to bury bodies, and so they're putting them in these extra shallow graves, like just fucking basically probably just sifting dirt over them. But the problem is all these fucking scavenger ass dogs are fucking digging them up, fucking dragging them around, got body parts fucking they're chewing on out in the fucking road and shit. But, I don't know. Fucking crazy shit. So the castle's got some pretty sick landscaping, obviously.
Right.
Fucking, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that was just brutal, though, with the bodies all over the place, thinking like a little blood and flesh, like water feature out on the front lawn, some disturbing fucking medieval shit going down.
Dude, it was all brutal back in the.
Man. Just
these stories like this, and
we're total pussies nowadays.
Right. I know, like Game of Thrones is fantasy, but it was kind of like that in that. The fuck all the dragons and all that bullshit. Right. But like it was kind of like
harsh.
That. Yeah,
I mean, it was harsh. So now all the kids are grown up, married. They're out of the house. She's an empty nester. So Elizabeth has her assistant Anna. She dies in 1609. So these debts are now starting to mount. So things are not going well for her. I guess she burned through all that fucking money, fucking buying truckloads of drugs, alcohol, peasant hookers.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And ordering some fucking DoorDash food at all hours of the fucking night. I don't know what's going on. Amazon shopping, but whatever.
It was all the peasant hookers. And she didn't pay them.
She could have been hanging out at the Nation. Could have been hanging out at the 419. I don't know. She was somewhere. But she's running out of peasant girls for the farm, so she comes up with a good idea. But it proves to be her undoing because she decides she's going to open a finishing school for young women to lure more girls to the castle that have some money. So we really need to do a fake commercial, guys, on the Elizabeth Bathory finishing school.
That is actually a great idea.
That has got to be done. So that's going to be there, all right?
Yeah.
So, Jeff, this almost sounds like a setup for a fucking porn movie, man. She's got the finishing school going on. Cute little girl showing up.
Dude, she's almost 50, and she's opening up this school. And it's to get all these young women there.
Oh,
so she can find a way to steal their money.
Right.
And, all these wealthy families are paying for it.
Right.
And she's going to literally take her blood money from them.
Right.
But you know what? When you do the Bathory finishing school, Fitzco's got to be there, man.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Maybe Fitzco will do the narration there.
Yeah.
Come see me, Fisco.
We'll have to
Elizabeth
get Jeff
Bathory.
in on the commercial, dude.
Yeah, we should get
hell
Jeff in
yeah.
on the commercials next time.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun. Very cool. So yeah, so she's 50. She's got this finishing school going on. It's just crazy. And Chris, I mean, this would be the thing though to bring some money in because she's a little short.
Well, like you said, it's a fucking finishing school. It's all for rich people. So she's like coming in, but all these girls start dying or come up missing, and she's trying to come up with fucking excuses.
Right.
And like they're not buying it. And they investigate old Countess Bathory eventually, and they're like, yeah, we have misleading causes, and they were concerned people now. They just wanted to fucking come out there and just fucking.
But interesting though, they don't get concerned when their peasants ended
Right,
up
that's
dead.
the thing, though.
It's
Now
these
all of a
rich
sudden,
girls
the
are
rich
ending up
kids
missing.
fucking-
And that's just like it is today, you know, when you see these stories of
Exactly.
Natalie Holloway for fucking months talking
but-
about that Madeline McCann.
But how many kids are there out
and
there that
Madeline
you've
McCann
never
was a
heard
kid
of?
too, but still, I mean, you don't hear about the prostitutes in Spokane, and you know that we've talked
Or
about this. you know.
Even now, there's probably thousands of teenage kids missing that we haven't heard of that had just went missing this year
Right.
that we don't know about. But if
Right.
they were rich or famous, right there on TV.
Right. Speaking of Spokane, they're in the top 10 cities listening. So thanks, Spokane,
Fuck
supporting your prostitutes ending up in, you know, the weeds and some of the podcasts we've done featuring some Spokane crazy shit going down.
yeah.
But,
Spokane serial killer, best name ever.
Dude, let me just really for a second, I just want to go off topic for a second because you were talking about fucking the Spokane shit and fucking, you know, the murders. Anyway, did you guys see fucking down in Oklahoma the fucking they were looking for these two 15-year-old girls, Brittany Brewer and Ivy Webster, and they found them in a house. I don't know the whole fucking story yet, but there was the abductor's name was Jesse McFadden, and he was a convicted rapist. Like, he had already done time for it. He was in there. He was dead, but they found him, and there were 7 people in the house dead.
Oh,
So
wow.
I don't know the whole story.
And
I
they
didn't
found
know
these girls alive?
No, they were dead too.
Oh.
So they were
Oh,
dead.
wow.
He was dead. But then there's 4 other fucking people dead in this house too.
Yeah, that's
That's
weird.
wild.
I
Damn.
know. I didn't hear. It was the first time I'd heard that they were looking for the girls.
Huh.
But then, you know, so I didn't know if anybody else heard any more about
No.
that.
No, I hadn't heard about that one.
All right.
Wow.
Okay, so that's
crazy.
some breaking news on Murder Mill Man.
There you go. But Joey, what happens? They get old George Thurzo involved here, and he starts doing a little investigation.
Well, he gets fucking assigned to investigate this by King Matthias of Hungary because, as we were just talking about, these aren't peasant girls anymore. These are
Right.
noble girls.
Right.
And these people want to know where the fuck their goddamn kids are at.
Right.
Fucking, so he fucking comes in, and supposedly he's a relative of Elizabeth's, I think through her husband or something, her dead husband. But, I don't know. Back then, I'm sure fucking everything was so tight knit. Everybody's related to everybody in some fucking form.
Right. Right.
Dude,
But-
the family tree had very few branches.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
True.
But anyway, fucking, you know, there was all kinds of witnesses. He talked to all kinds of people, you know, to get the story to figure out what was going on. And
Right.
from his conclusion, I mean, I don't know how much of what we're talking about or whatnot is fantasy over reality,
Right.
but she was definitely involved in a lot of bogus shit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he believes she's guilty, but he's not sure what to do since she's a countess, and her dead husband had asked him to look out for her if something happened to him. So he feels some sense of loyalty to his friend. So he goes to the family about it, and they all decide the best way is for Elizabeth to be held accountable and held prisoner in one of her own castles instead of being executed. They didn't want the public embarrassment, as I was saying earlier, Also, I guarantee you the money was a big part of this.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure here exactly, but you know, she was in some financial mess at the time. But with all that property, I'm sure she was maybe cash tight, but she had a bunch of property and castles and everything. So there's certainly money there with all of that. Plus, all these people owed her fucking money, which we're going to talk about. So, Jeff, I saw that she tried to ingratiate herself with old George, and she invites him and his people over for a little New Year's Eve soiree over at her place.
Yeah. So in 1610, they all come over there, and everything is great. They have a great dinner.
Yeah, good
They're all
time.
eating. And then dessert comes. And after they ate some of the cake that she served, apparently all of them got sick. So it could have been a mistake for them to go over there and think that they were going to get away with it, seeing as they were investigating her. She was going to do anything she could to get out of it.
Right. They would have been better off, Jeff, playing Killers the card game instead of eating that cake. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Right,
Hell
Joey?
yeah.
I mean, wouldn't that have been a better option?
I'd rather do
It's
that.
New
Well, I
Year's
mean-
Eve. I mean, that would be the good thing to do. But no, they ate the cake. They got sick.
Me, I'll play Killers the card game and eat my cake too.
There you
Fuck
go.
yeah.
So yeah, so this is not quite going like they planned. So Chris, one of her servants apparently casts a spell to protect her.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
Against Thurzo and his men, like all his dudes. But he's like, I'm not going to fuck around with this bitch anymore. Like, he just had a group of dudes waiting for her when she came out. And when they stormed the gates, there was a dead body, and they heard all these motherfucking screamings coming from the door. I just want to know how you didn't hear that screaming before this gate was down. Is this like a soundproof fucking gate?
I wonder if it's like that. What was that one, the Unterweger, where the guy heard the girl screaming on the other side of the wall, and he said he didn't hear it?
Yeah. It's like, no, you hear that, right? Like,
one of them.
Why the fuck would you not hear that before you kick the gate down?
Right.
Come on, man.
I don't know. So, so now they've
got
got
all
some
these
evidence.
victims, dude.
They got some evidence. There's some victims. They found a body. So, Joey, this would be when the Countess is actually put in fucking cuffs and taken down to the dungeon, man. What happens with that, dude?
Into her own dungeon.
Yeah.
The dungeon she created in her own castle. Now she's confined to
Hold
it.
on. I got a reference again.
Okay.
So is this like Goodfellas when they're in prison with the fucking lobster and the steak and shit? Like,
speaking of Goodfellas, and that scene, I saw a picture. I mean, I think I'm going to get it, of a Goodfellas poster, but the only picture is a close up of him cutting the garlic
with the razor
with
blade.
the
That
razor.
is
fucking perfect.
Good fucking yes,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's fucking
hilarious.
perfect. Yeah, I saw a whole fucking page of nothing but Goodfellas stuff on shirts and mugs
Right,
and hats.
right.
I was like losing my mind. I'm like, I'm going to go broke if I keep fucking looking at this, because this is just too much. This is just too much. There was also a Tommy's shoes, and it says Spit Shine Tommy. It says makes your shoes look like fucking mirrors on the bottom of it. Yeah. It's fucking perfect. It's fucking perfect. So Joey, I mean, this is when she gets arrested, and we're talking about a lot of victims. So this would have been one hell of a Cops episode. 80 to 650, that's quite the range of victims, but
Right.
they really didn't know. But it was a lot, is what they felt here.
And in this case, because it was something that happened so long ago and that we're never going to know, this is one that I feel I can comfortably continue my life and just enjoy the legend of Bathory and imagine that she killed hundreds of fucking virgin girls.
Yeah. No, I agree, dude. It's the legend of it for sure.
That's the original Virgin Slayer.
Now, in 1611, Elizabeth's personal staff were all put on trial. So here's where it gets shitty, right? So she's locked up in a dungeon, but the rest of them, death sentences passed down. And this isn't like 20 years on death row watching TV and getting massages. This is death. Like you're fucking walked out to the fucking courtyard.
There is no fucking appeal at all. No. You're done.
So Iona, Joe, Dorca, and Fizco. God, that fucking
Dorca.
Fizco. Iona and Dorca are tortured to death. Their fingers torn off with iron tongs and thrown into a fucking bonfire.
How fucking brutal is that?
Your
brutal. Face is torn.
Brutal. Fizco, he's beheaded, and his death is made more swift because of his youth and his disability. So there's that. Very nice of them to do that for him.
Thank you.
Catalin was the only one not executed because they felt she wasn't really part of it. She had apparently tried to smuggle food into the victims more than once and was punished for it. So she ends up getting life in prison. And in a prison like that, that's fucking brutal as fuck. Yeah, I'd rather have fucking, be beheaded like old Fizco there. So she gets life. Now, Jeff Thurzo lives up to his word, though. He doesn't put her on trial. But as we've been saying, he puts her in her own dungeon, man. What's up with that?
Yeah, she gets sentenced to life in her own dungeon to live out her days. And so the rest of her life, she denied that she did anything wrong.
Right.
She blamed everything on her staff.
Right.
So old Fizco got a bunch of blame. He was running around grabbing those virgins. I got to tell you, the guy who beheaded him, because back then, you're not in France, so they didn't have the guillotine, I don't believe. They would have used a guy with a big, sharp sword and, put his neck down on a block and chopped his head off. That guy must have been I don't know what you would call it with a sword, but he must have been a marksman because he didn't have much of a neck. He was a small guy.
Right. Wouldn't that dude from Game of Thrones, that Peter Dinklage, wouldn't he perfectly fucking be Couldn't he be Fizco? I mean,
he could be Fizco.
He's older now. But
Dude, he was my favorite character.
Yeah, he's badass.
He was fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, I liked his character too. I'd like this character.
I was at a convention. I've got a convention coming up that he's at. And I'm excited to be
Peter Dinklage,
for
real?
That's cool. That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
dude.
I've got an autographed picture of him up in my my bedroom. I should bring it down here sometime. This is just a fucked up situation for sure. But Chris, I guess the one she hated the most over the whole thing was old George Thurzo, the investigator, right?
Yeah, because he led the shit, and he while she was on her house arrest or whatever, he came to visit her and fucking, she was just like, you know what, fuck you, dude. You got me in this spot. There's no reason I should be here. Go fuck yourself. And he just told her to go. He just said the same thing right back. Well, go fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
I'm out.
I guess you're going back to your dungeon.
I hate what you did to all these fucking girls, and you deserve more than what you're getting. You should be dead right now.
Right.
Basically. So he said, fuck them.
Yeah, it is fucked up.
Plot twist, Thurzo is the fucking killer of all the girls.
I know, wouldn't that be so fucked up?
That would have been badass. Fizco.
I was going to say Fizco, yeah.
So, Joey, 4 years go by now. It's 1614. She's been in her prison there all this time, and what winds up happening?
Well, she tells the guards that her hands are cold and that she doesn't feel good. And they're like, well, just go ahead and lay down, see if you feel better later. She does. She goes and lays down, but she never wakes up.
Yep.
She passes away in her sleep at 54 years old.
Yeah, so that's that. And then the legend grows from there, and the Blood Countess and all that stuff. So I read that one of her daughters took a lot of her valuables from the properties, and the daughter's husband, so Bathory's son-in-law, was all about trying to get some of that money before Elizabeth was even dead. He was fucking cleaning out the fucking castles.
Right.
I also saw that her eldest son would have inherited everything after his father died, which would have been the law of the time. So there's some conflicting things of, was she really the owner of this stuff? I'm not sure. I don't know.
What happened to it?
I mean, maybe the son-in-law was going to do like a storage wars thing, like with all
just
the
go see what
castles.
Ma had.
That could have been
maybe
cool.
maybe he would just be nice. He'd be like, don't look at the peasants like, just go grab what you need. Just be civil about it.
Right.
I bet you that happened, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. just like old Danny Lee Siebert went back to fucking San Francisco. It happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think this is the fucking first hole I dug?
God damn.
So the king that started the investigation, old Matthias II, apparently owed Elizabeth a lot of money. So there's another likely reason why maybe she got fucking investigated.
This king's like, hey, go check this bitch out. I know she's on some shady shit.
Yeah, now he doesn't have to pay back this huge debt because remember, the country borrowed money from her and her fucking family.
Country.
Seriously.
So she's hanging out with a witch. Go get her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I read that the king made it illegal to say the name Elizabeth Bathory in Hungary for 100 years. And, you have to wonder, did they do this to just completely erase it from memory? Nobody alive then would be alive in 100 years, so they would basically die out. Maybe it was what they hoped. They didn't know about the internet.
They didn't
know about fucking Killers the card game. They didn't know about this stuff back then.
If they had
known,
known,
no idea.
If they had known, they probably would have put some more work in.
Maybe try to, change it around. I don't know.
No, just buy a fucking Killers the card game.
Oh, sure. So now we all know, money does stupid shit to people. So no big surprise there. I think a lot of it had to do with that. But records at the time showed a huge increase of young women that died when she was around. So there's no disputing that there was a much higher mortality rate with young girls whenever Elizabeth Bathory was around. That's been proven. So there's definitely something to it, but whether it was up in the hundreds, we just don't know.
So maybe you, okay, I think I get it. So maybe she was a lesbian, but she wanted to hide it. And she's doing the Gacy thing, like taking these, as opposed to Gacy taking young men, she's taking young women, same thing.
Possible. Didn't have a crawl space, though.
Right, did not have a crawl, had a bathtub.
So it could be embarrassment that this is going to make the family look bad. There were descendants of hers on one of the docs I watched. It's kind of interesting. This one guy, he didn't believe the legend, saying that she couldn't have been so good at handling the business side of things and being a prolific serial killer. But I firmly disagree with that statement. We have seen it repeatedly. Yeah. These motherfuckers are good at, as BTK would say, cubing their lives. You got Gacy, you got Ridgway, Golden State, BTK mentioned. I mean, on and fucking on and on. And I don't think that that's a true statement. I get it. It's his family. He'd rather not, have his relative known as this awful fucking person. But it is what it is.
That's my ancestor. You just wait.
Yeah, it is what it is. And, there is a big resurgence in Hungary to try to, cover what she did. They're trying to say that she did it for medical reasons, that these girls that died were sick and she was trying to cure them. And all this bullshit, but I think that's definitely a fucking stretch. So, I don't know, Jeff. What do you think about the whole thing?
Yeah, I think that's a stretch too. If nothing else, history will teach us that with the passage of time, people can cover up anything, right? And you wonder, what the truth is. We'll never know, but. It's obvious that something was going on back then, and she was the root cause of it. And, it's you fast forward about 200 years over here in the United States. And you look at Delphine Lalaurie, right, in New Orleans.
Right.
And some similar things happening in her story, right? Another 200 years, she's torturing and killing her slaves in her basement. And, you know, there's talk about hundreds being killed there. So, you know, it's something that happens.
Right.
And it just continues to happen. It's one of the reasons why I'm always working, and I love the podcast, and I love all the things that we do, because it's cool to go out there and spread this awareness.
Right.
Unashamedly telling people who exactly these people were, because I
Right.
think it's so fucking important, because if we forget about that, it will constantly repeat itself.
Right.
Definitely.
Good point, dude. A very good point.
I mean, yeah, we laugh about it a lot too, but fuck. How can you not laugh at it sometimes?
Right. Joey, anything you want to add to that conversation?
No, I pretty much agree with what Jeff was saying there for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Dude, the best way to learn is to have fun.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. Because if they weren't, you know, laughing along with us, they probably wouldn't listen this long into a
Fucking
long
A.
episode. This is shaping up. There's already an hour and a half in. She was buried in a local cemetery, but not for too long. The people didn't want her ass there, so the body's exhumed and put in the Bathory family crypt. But then in 1995, for whatever reason, they had to open the crypt, and there's no sign of the blood countess.
Hey,
so that just kind of fuels the whole thing.
I know it's
again.
hundreds of years later, but fucking no body in the crypt. That just leads up more to the vampire lore right there. Like
Possibly.
oh, shit.
That's what I'm saying. You know, it just adds to it, right? And a lot of these old records didn't last. You know, there's some stuff we've got, but obviously a lot of it was destroyed. Modern Hungary have been trying to kind of cleanse this, as I mentioned, you know, saying that these may have been abortions she was trying to do and they didn't live. You know, talking like some Reg Christie shit in the UK. We did that.
Right.
You know? So, you know, I wonder if that's the reason why all of a sudden, you know, articles and documentaries seem to be popping up that are contrary to the legend, because they're trying to make it less brutal than it was, because they don't want to be known for such a thing. I don't really know.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking nuts.
I did read, though, that her story was really forgotten until 1744, when the tale was retold in lurid details, it says, in a book about Hungary's history by a Jesuit priest named Laszlo Tarozzi. After that, Victorian authors, just like I was saying earlier, love to you know, reuse that character and those you know, traits in other characters they were writing. So the legend just grew from there. But guys, anything to add to Elizabeth Bathory?
I got nothing.
No.
No, guys, anything?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, I did my research with this one over many years, watching, reading. This has always interested me. Recently, though, the one I saw, Biographics by Simon Whistler, is really good. That's the guy that does Casual Criminalist. He also does one called Biographics. It's great. There was also a good one on Lady Killers series on YouTube that had an episode on Elizabeth Bathory. They've also got one on Rose West. They've got Myra Hindley. They got some good UK cases in there too. It's a UK show. I watched a lot of documentaries over the years, read lots of stuff, most of it, you know, the real legendary stuff. One case, you know, that didn't come up tonight that I know Chris and I did in the very early days of doing this podcast was Gilles de Rais, who was in France doing some similar shit with boys. And this was 100 years before her, but he was doing some shit also with some crazy high body counts there. So that definitely is an interesting case that I thought was at least worth mentioning because of the like with the Marquis de Sade, just this like over the top debauchery, murder, all sorts of mayhem going on. So
He'll be in Killers the card game soon.
awesome.
Nice,
Yeah, I don't
nice.
remember what episode that was, Chris, with G DeRay, but it was an early
man,
one.
that was so long ago, dude.
Yeah, I heard about him from John Borowski, and then I started looking into it. We had just started the podcast, so I'm like, here's a good one.
Dude, I remember the only thing I remember about that is like listening to a documentary or an audio book, fucking driving to Iowa for work. That's all I remember of that.
I had a guy come up to me at a convention and ask me if he was in the game yet. And I didn't even know who the hell he was when he asked me. And so
Right.
I went and did some research, and I was like, oh, yeah, he's for sure got to
Oh
get away.
yeah,
Yeah,
oh
it's
yeah,
fucking
throwing
good.
kids off the mountain. Yeah, it's pretty brutal shit. So Jeff, thank you very much for coming on and talking with us about this iconic
Yeah, dude.
case.
Fuck yeah.
Always love having you on, and now that you're a regular, it's great. But you're the guy behind Killers the Card Game. So check that episode description for a link to get yourself a game. So many good ones you've got, though, beyond that. Anything that you want to mention? Because I know you and I are talking about possibly collaborating on a game, and you've got all kinds of stuff going on. You got a new crowdfunder going on, and so I wanted to let you mention any of that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so today, when we're recording this, it's Tuesday, and I literally just released Killer's Kill Scene on Kickstarter today. And it is, I don't know, right before we filmed this, I checked it, and I was like $30 away from being fully funded. Which is
Nice.
awesome.
Nice, dude. Hell yeah.
So we will be getting that one out there. It is the most fucked up version of Spades you'll ever play.
Oh my God, yeah, dude! I saw some of that posts and the pictures and whatnot. I definitely want to check it out.
So this is independent of
And I love
Killers the
spades.
Card Game, or this
It
is
is.
part of Killers the Card Game?
No, it is
Oh,
independent.
okay.
It is.
That's what
So,
I thought. Because I
you know,
bought
the-
one. I bought one. I wanted to support what you were doing today.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I put my
appreciate it.
money where my mouth is. I bought one, and I'm anxious to get it. So yeah. So
Dude,
what's
it
up?
is- we really wanted to my main focus has always been really getting people into the psychology of different killers. It's something that fascinates me. So in all of our games, there is an element of that. Killers was really spreading awareness about the amount, and Kill Scene is really kind of digging into this idea of, if you were killing, how would you kill? And so that's always fascinating to me. I got
Interesting.
plenty more shit coming too. And then we're going to be releasing Mass Murderers in a couple months. That'll
Okay.
be coming out. That'll be the next expansion for Killers the Card Game.
Nice.
And then directly after that, we're going to release some like random packs that people can buy to supplement Killers, where
Cool.
we'll add Gilles de Rais. He'll be in there. There's a bunch of other people. I just met somebody this weekend that was abducted by, Robert Charles Brown. And I didn't know who he was, right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy.
Interesting.
So yeah, we've got all kinds of shit going on.
That's awesome. And we're going to have you on all the time. So, you can keep us posted. So, again, guys, go to that episode description and follow the link to Jeff's website
get
where you can
Jeff
get in
shit.
on all this shit. Just really cool stuff. Now, next week, guys, we're going to be going to Australia again. We love going over there, but this is going to get nasty. The Razor Gang Wars. You got to love the sound of that. 1920s and 30s.
I mean, that's when you use razors in the 20s. And
Literally
30s.
straight razors because
Yeah.
pistols were illegal. It's some crazy shit that takes center stage with this brothel owner, crime boss, and badass bitch Tilly Devine. She had the nickname Razor. She cut motherfuckers with the razor too. So this
She's
is
her
just-
own gang.
This is crazy. No, she's got a whole
Right,
If you
right.
don't play
I'm just-
Razor in the bumper music, I'm going to be pissed.
right. So she is one nasty bitch. And I sat down last weekend to talk to our friend Mick over there in Australia, the former Australian police officer, to weigh in on old Tilly Devine. And we had a great conversation. Mick's a lot of fun. And we talked all kinds of Australian stuff and gangland shit, and it was a lot of fun. So that'll be part of the episode. It's going to get brutal, so you definitely don't want to miss that. Next one in our Murdering Moms of May, because she was also a mom. So, Joey, any page of days for us?
Quick, real fast. This will be a quick one.
Okay.
This week, pretty classic. So we're going to go to 2012 in April. And Mohammed Ashan was a lower-level Afghan Taliban commander. He turns himself into the Afghan troops. So this dude was suspected of orchestrating several IED attacks on the U.S. troops.
Right.
And there were wanted posters with his face all over the place in southeastern Afghan in Paktika. So the posters offered $100 reward. And so that's whenever he was like, fuck it, I'm going to turn myself in. He turns himself in and he demands the reward money.
Right.
Oh, God.
And the military officials were just at a loss for this behavior because he was,
I'm sure.
he was first and only insurgent captured as a direct result of the wanted poster.
Oh, that's hilarious. Wow.
Did they pay him?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure probably, but I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably
Got
not.
paid in ramen.
So the last one I just got another quick one for page a day. So thought this was cool. This is a Scottish proverb, and the proverb is "You'll die facing the monument." Now, this is because in Glasgow, condemned prisoners were hanged facing Nelson's monument on Glasgow Green.
Really?
I thought that was pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah,
Yep.
that's pretty brutal. Fuck
So
yeah.
that was page a day this week.
Gotta love some page a day there. All right, well, guys, I think it's time to crank up some metal. I think we've done plenty of murdering tonight
Oh,
to
my God,
last
dude.
us a lifetime. So, Jeff, what the fuck do we need to do?
Time to get our medal on.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just because CK has passed on, he's not done educating the masses. CK will forever be the great metal motherfucker. We're here to stomp poser ass and eradicate the planet of their kind. CK has passed the torch to us, and we will forge the fuck on. In CK's name, we will bestow metal knowledge upon all of you.
All right. This is always going to be CK's
The
segment.
great metal motherfucker.
That's right. Long live the great metal motherfucker. And we're here. He's here with us in the studio, keeping the posergeists away in the form of CCK, Cardboard CK. And he's always there behind you, Chris, throwing up the horns.
That's
with
my
his
homie.
Metal Blade shirt on. So very, very cool that he's still here in some way. And so since CK's been gone, we passed the horns around. And so it's my turn to do the metal segment. Chris is giving me the horns. And so I've got 3 fucking goat horns. And that means it's my turn to pick the feature for the metal segment. And I have chosen the Danish band Chronicle. Definitely like those guys.
Get it done.
They're from northern Denmark. They're a technical melodic death metal band, I guess, if you want to get specific. But these guys have hints of thrash, classic metal, and black metal all in there as well. They incorporate a lot of style into their sound, and they're very, very talented musicians, all of them. They've been around since 2012. The band name stood out to me as being different. And actually, I asked them if this was what it meant, and they said, "You're the first one that's guessed it right." That their songs and lyrics chronicle events going on around them, and that's why they're called Chronicle. And he said, "Yeah, you're right."
Damn, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it does make sense. It's kind of like when I saw the band name, it doesn't strike me as being this brutal fucking band, but
Right.
these guys really bring it, and I really dig them. The current lineup is Lars on vocals and guitar, Yari on drums, Jacob on bass, and Sebastian on lead guitar. They have put out some very impressive releases in an 11-year period. They started with Welcome the Darkness. It was an EP in 2014. Then they put out Primordial Fear, which was their debut in 2015. Then another EP called Memento Mori in 2016. And their incredible Demonology album, which is fucking ridiculous, in 2020. Right in the middle of the fucking pandemic, they were like, fuck it.
Just like, fuck it, let's put out a fucking album, dude.
And then they wrote like crazy. They said they wrote 30 songs and whittled them down to the 11, I think, or 10 or 11 that are on Where Chaos Thrives, which is coming out May 19th. This album is killer. I got an advance copy and did a review of it if you want to go on our Facebook page and check that out. But these guys are on the label Mighty Music, which is a big label in Denmark. And they've got quite a few shows, fests and shit coming up. This is one of the most original bands I've heard in a long time, taking a lot of different sub-genres of metal and kind of combining them into one. I really, really dig it. And I had a chance to interview Lars, Jacob, and Sebastian. And here's a 5-minute clip of that from a 50-minute interview that I did. So check this out. So I love asking this question because I've learned about so many great bands this way. But are there any bands you guys are listening to that maybe our listeners don't know about? So the more underground, whether it be a local band or a band from anywhere. Any ones that you want to mention?
Go one at a time.
Yeah, sure.
I'm big time into Indonesian death metal. They have a very, very much alive metal scene with both like extreme death metal and also like black metal, which is a little confounding since Indonesia is the country in the whole world who has the most there living mush at around 250 million.
Wow.
But still has this like big ass metal scene. I'd like to recommend everyone to check out Death Squad.
Death Squad? Okay.
No. I made that mistake too.
Yeah.
Dead Squad.
Oh, Dead Squad. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm definitely going to check it
everything
out.
they've made is just fucking raw. But the last couple of years, they've really, really modernized their sound. Maybe taking a little bit of like deathcore into it, but not in a bad way. They're still just unbelievably talented, and their drummer is like 17, 18.
Wow.
Plays 300 BPMs.
That's insane.
Fuck off.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you, Lars? Any you want to mention?
Oh, well, if I had to highlight one specifically, it's actually released their debut album in, I believe it was 2020, 2021 maybe, but I've been really getting into Summoning the Lich since their debut record. That shit is awesome. And,
those guys are badass.
Their newest single is like even fucking better. I'm so looking forward to whatever album they come out with next. I haven't, like, not a lot of people have heard of them here, but I hope at some point they'll come to tour Europe, because I would fucking love to see them live. It's like
have a road trip.
Well, if they come to Germany, then I gotta go to Berlin or something.
That's awesome.
Would be my pick.
Excellent. What about you, Sebastian?
I guess I'm gonna be what is the word? Suggest a person instead of a band, because I'm actually suggesting that you follow Malcolm Pugh and all his weird ass side bands. He's a tech dude from the US, and he has his main band is called Inferi, but he has so many bands, and I guess like almost everything he does is awesome.
Wow.
And it's like he plays black metal and tech death and grind almost sometimes.
And he plays both guitar and bass, and on top of that, he owns the record label, the Artisan Era.
Yeah, and he does so many. When he's not playing awesome metal music, he's signing awesome metal music. He's just like a insanely cool dude, and seems like a really great guy. And all his projects are insane.
Yeah. What was his name again? What was his name?
No.
If we're pronouncing, P-U-G-H. Yeah.
Malcolm Pugh.
Malcolm Pugh. Okay. All right. Interesting.
Just follow whatever he does. He is awesome.
Awesome. And I've got a couple for you guys that you could check out. I love this band from Australia. I love thrash and death, so I love the death thrash stuff big time. And these guys are amazing. They're called In Malice's Wake. They've been around for a while. They've got several albums out, but In Malice, In Malice's Wake. And their last album, all of them are great, but death thrash, kind of deicide-ish with the vocals, musically really very talented guys. And then another one I just found out about from Canada called Raider, just like the football team, the Oakland Raiders. But Raider from Ontario, Canada, also a thrash death band. I'm getting ready to interview those guys here in a couple weeks. So really good. Just came out with a new album, Raider. Really good shit. All right. Well, that's good. I'm definitely going to check out those bands that you guys mentioned. Now, here's a fun question, and a lot of the bands get a kick out of this one. Now, if you had to decide which of the following would die in a Chronicle mosh pit, would it be Justin Bieber, Kim Kardashian, or Fred Durst? And let's start with you, Jacob.
No, we love Fred Durst.
Kim
No, do not touch that man. He is a national treasure.
I have to say Kim K, because if she dies just of a stroke or something, then everyone else has something soft to land on.
Oh boy. Okay.
Just smack my face down that.
Use her as a cushion.
When I interviewed Schizophrenia, one of them said, "Do I have to just pick one? Can it be all of them?" So,
yeah, just all of them.
It was really funny. I got a good kick. I did an interview with Skeletal. So there's a little taste of that. We had some fun. Yep, I played you the part where they talk about some of the music that they've been listening to. Some good shit there. The bass player Jacob talking about that Indonesian death metal that he digs. Then we talked about the question about who's going to die in the mosh pit, and they went with Kim Kardashian there. So that's funny because they said when she falls in the mosh pit, everybody will be able to land on her big booty, so that they'll be cushioned. So. All right, so the whole 50-minute interview will be a bonus episode that comes out the day after this one drops. So the video will be on the YouTube channel, so go check that out. Subscribe to that as well. And remember, that new Chronicle album coming out May 19th, Where Chaos Thrives. All right, Joey, you said you had a lost classic for us. What do you got?
My lost classic is Weird Al Yankovic.
Fuck yeah.
Weird Al Yankovic, because that first album he did with fucking Another One Rides the Bus.
Yes.
Fucking I Love Rocky Road. I mean, it's such a good album. Got Ricky on it. Oh, Ricky, you're so funny. Right. Fucking. So yeah, go listen to some Weird Al.
I love it, dude. Good fucking call, bro.
Yeah, Weird Al.
Good
That's
fucking call, bro.
That's a good one. All right, what have we been listening to lately, Chris? What about the nation, man?
Obviously, I listen to random shit, but like in particular, like I said earlier in the podcast, fucking since we were doing Elizabeth Bathory, I had to listen to Cradle of Filth's Cruelty and the Beast. Had to listen to it. I have also been jamming that fucking Blood Red Throat Imperial Congregation.
Oh, dude.
That motherfucker's badass, dude.
That's slamming, dude.
Dude, it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
And also this kid at school, the one I told you about before, that first day he was there, he's got an Exodus shirt on and shit, but I said at school. Fuck. Anyway, but this kid at work, he introduced me to this band, asked me if I heard, which I never heard before, called Paleface, which I checked them out, and they were pretty good. They're more of a deathcore band, but I dug them. They were pretty all right. They're pretty heavy, dude.
That's cool. All right. Joey, what about you?
I was listening to that fucking Vision of a Disorder imprint.
Yes.
Fucking had to grab that one, fucking physical copy too. Fucking I'm also listening to my buddies in Alien 666 because we were talking about that, but they're like a fucking, I don't know, they got a few different elements, some doom, they got some death metal, some
No, they're fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Like when we went to Michigan and I got to see him play, I was like, oh, all right, this is fucking interesting as shit. I like it.
It's a two-man. It's a drummer and it's a bassist who does vocals too. But anyway, so they were my buddies since before I even moved out here to Toledo, and that's where they're from, is here in Toledo. And
cool.
So anyway, I've been playing shows with them. They were actually the first ones to put me on some shows out here whenever I first moved out here, so that was cool. And I've been doing shows with them, fucking jamming their tunes and shit, but they don't really have the recording capabilities or know-how. And since I do a little bit, I was like, hey, man, I'll fucking record a couple live tracks for you guys. So I do got fucking 3 tracks that I did of theirs that I recorded, and it's it's live. It's just fucking with a mic in the room and shit.
Right.
No track by track, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty old school and shit, but I like it because recording it live, like, they played the song together, and you can feel that in a different way than you can tell a tracked song.
For sure.
I agree.
But anyway, so yeah, a little bit of plug to Alien 666. Shout out to them. Maybe
cool.
I'll grab one of those songs and we can use it for a bumper.
I would love to do that.
Sometime.
I would love to do that for sure.
Cool.
Very cool. Well, I've been listening to that band from Beirut I mentioned last week, Blackium. Love those guys. Their Line of Fear is their latest album. They're getting ready to come out with a new one. Judas Priest, Screaming for Vengeance, just going old school, doing some driving over the weekend. The new Demolizer single, those guys are coming out with a new album. I just advanced ordered it. It's coming out July 7th, I think. I don't remember the name of it offhand, but the single's out there, so go check that out if you like thrash. Those guys are also from Denmark, a bunch of Denmark bands, Hatesphere, Killing, fucking Chronicle, and Demolizer, all great bands from Denmark. And then the Chronicle album, Demonology, I mentioned that when I was doing that rundown. Holy shit, that's a good one. So really dig those guys. All right, Chris, you got the horns next. What's your plan, dude?
I honestly hadn't thought about it, so this is going to be a surprise.
Okay.
Not no tricky game like I did with the metal segment.
Okay.
But I honestly hadn't thought about it.
All right, well, that's fine. It's a game time decision. That's okay. All right, very cool. Bands, if you want to get on the show, send your stuff to Pete@murdermetalmayhem.com. You want to send some MP3s, we could check it out. We'll get back to you. If you want to send it old school, I got a band that actually contacted me to get the address. So we'll see if they send some Pop-Tarts there with the stuff. I don't know. Murder Metal Mayhem, P.O. Box 554, Hayworth, Illinois 61745. And throw a sticker in there. I always love putting them on the door. Tables, got a little bit of real estate left, but not much. All right, Joey, what's up with Goremonger and the distro and stuff?
FDA Records hit me up. I got some shit. Fucking with Goremonger, I am here pretty soon, like a week probably after this episode drops. I'll be headed down on the 12th and 13th of May to Tampa, Florida.
Fuck yeah, Grindfest.
Yep, Tampa Grindfest, so I'm stoked on that. Kill Division headlining day 1 Friday, that's whenever I play, and then Co-Hanger Abortion headlining day 2 on Saturday.
Nice.
Fucking at the Brass Mug, so come on out to that.
Iconic, man, iconic. Very cool, very, very cool. The 666 Club's another cool thing, place to hang out. Patreon supporters, support us there. You can, $3 a month, you can get bonus episodes. You can get the stuff early. Like when I do the interviews, you're getting the interview like when I sit down at the fucking computer right after I get done. I get them right out. So $3 a month though. Patreon.com/murdermetalmayhem, or go to our website, murdermetalmayhem.com, and you can sign up right from there. All right, guys. Well, I think we have done plenty of metal tonight. So, Joey, what the fuck do we need to do?
Let's get our fucking mayhem on.
this is the Cannibal Cafe where eating you out brings a whole new meaning. How the fuck can I help you?
Yeah, this is Frankie, and I'd like to make a dinner reservation for 2 this Friday at 8 p.m. if possible.
Dinner reservation? You don't need to call us to cannibalize any of our members. You take care of that on your own. Just go on our message board and let everybody know what you're looking for. There was a guy on there last week. He wanted some motherfucker to bite his dick off while he was still living, and he enjoyed every second of it. So I know he's still not available, but there might be others.
What? Did you say biting someone's cock off? I thought this was a vegan restaurant. I'm offended. Can I speak to a manager? I'm going to leave you a negative Yelp review.
I am the boss, motherfucker. Go take your reason ass and jump the fuck off. You fucking poser cannibal wannabe motherfucker.
Oh
Jesus
my
Christ.
God. Cannibal Cafe commercial. That's some good shit there, Chris. One of your finer moments, man. One of your finer
God
moments.
damn.
Me as the caller, sounding like 2 different people there. Always fun. Always fun. And before that, Chronicle and the song from the new album called Evolution in Reverse. Fuck. Badass. So definitely don't forget about that, May 19th. All right. Mayhem, Chris, Joey?
I got nothing. Joey, you
Joey,
said you had a little...
one?
I got something real fast. So, all of our listeners, you hear this.
Oh, yeah.
You
I know
hear
what
the
your story is.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
what your story is.
So everybody hears the bubbling, so y'all know I smoke the bong a lot, and I like the bong. But the last one I had one for like 8 years, like a long fucking time, fucking in Illinois, and then fucking I moved here with it. That motherfucker took a couple spills off of shit where I was like, oh, it's done, and then fucking
Right.
it
lasted.
It survived, yeah, it lasted and shit. And then the other day, fucking, I was fucking around with a goddamn dog, fucking, getting crazy. He's a bulldog, and you gotta get crazy with him. And I was fucking hanging out, and all of a sudden, fucking boom, knocked over the fucking bong, smashed fucking all over the place. I was like, God damn. So anyway, I mean, it fucking, like I said, it lasted me 8 years, man. I can't be mad at that. I was pretty fucking stoked I had it that long. And so I went out the next day, and I fucking bought a brand new one. And fucking, I was all stoked and I had a Murder Metal Mayhem die cut sticker, which you can get from us. Order one from us. They're fucking badass. We still got some.
Yeah.
But, so I put it on the bong, and it was looking all fucking badass, putting pictures up on Facebook like fucking nerd.
Like, check out the fucking bong, bro.
Yeah. And then that fucking very next day, I fucking have it out, and I'm fucking moving something around on the fucking tray and shit that I've got it on, and like my phone's connected to my laptop's what it was. I had the fucking cord, and I didn't realize it, and I fucking went to pull the fucking laptop, and my phone came with it. Grabbed that fucking brand new bong, knocked it right on the ground, fucking broke the fuck out of it. I didn't even have it a fucking day.
I was gonna say, did you have it 24 hours?
I had it 24 hours, but just barely. So anyway, so then fucking the day after that, I went out and I bought this new one that you're hearing now. I like this one a lot, fucking. So
I like the picture of it. It looked like a dope ass bong, the new one you just got. So fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's shitty though, dude. Like, lose a bong after 8 years, get another one, less than a day, just like motherfucker.
Yeah.
All right, well, we got a killer cage match to get to, guys. That's where we get a list of 75 killers, 75 objects for them to fight with, a variable in there to make it interesting, and Fizco will be in the next list of variables, I can tell you that right now, and a song playing while they do it and kill each other. And we got some listeners we want to say thank you to, Chris.
Yes, sir. Once again, tonight we have Mike Height, we got Big Mike Collier, and we got Jess Brown. What's going on, y'all?
Oh, yeah, that was Tim Height. Tim Height.
Oh, what did I say?
Yeah, you said Mike Height.
Oh, shit, I'm stupid.
Like Mike Kite.
Mike Height.
Mike Height?
Tim Height.
Tim Height. Sorry, Tim.
Tim Height. I apologize, sir.
It happens.
Sometimes my eyes go before my reading.
Hey, this late in the episode, it's past the 2-hour mark now. Holy shit. And we're just doing the killer cage match, but we got a nasty one tonight, Joey. Who's fighting?
I'm drinking some of this McCormick's.
Oh, boy.
You know you are. We got fucking BTK Dennis Rader going up against Catherine Knight. She will skin you.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I definitely would not want to be with anybody that had anything to do with Catherine Knight because, that's just not good. And, Chris, they got a couple of objects they're fighting with. What's up with this?
Well, see, here's the problem. One of these weapons is not good for one of the fighters.
Right.
Because they'll have a pair of toenail clippers and an anal fleshlight. So, now, as we spoke before, a lot of fucking toenail clippers, they come with the little scrapers and the little blades and shit.
Right.
Like, what kind of, like, this is
and that's going to take a long time.
This is a thing, though.
This
is a thing.
So that could be used, and it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
And it's going to hurt like a motherfucker.
After reading this now, I got a whole plan.
All right, so there's a toenail clipper and an anal fleshlight, and then Joey, what's the variable here?
Hunter Biden with 2 hookers snorting an 8-ball of the cocaine.
Oh boy!
I think I want me some of that cocaine.
So we got.
You don't want none of this shit here.
And the song playing though is at least a good song,
dude.
"Dead Skin Mask" by Slayer.
Yeah.
So fuck yeah. All right, so we've got BTK Dennis Rader fighting Catherine Knight with a pair of toenail clippers, an anal fleshlight, and Hunter Biden with 2 hookers after snorting an 8-ball of cocaine with "Dead Skin Mask" by fucking Slayer playing in the background. Chris, where the hell do we start with this one?
See, I had a plan laid out. Now I got it different. So I don't know what I'm doing now. So BTK, like, he's looking at Biden over there with the coke and the hooker. He's like, this is not what Jesus does, but I like them hookers. I know BTK wasn't a hooker person, but he just liked to bind people, and he figured I could just take these hookers and bind them up. So he binds them up, and then he just does a little bit of cocaine with Hunter out of nowhere. He's just like, whatever, let's try some coke. Does some cocaine. Meanwhile, motherfucking those guys are over there getting fucking high as shit. Fucking Dead Skin Mask is fucking playing in the background.
Giving Catherine some ideas.
Catherine Knight in her head, she's like, this is my fucking theme song, dude. No, dude, it fucking, oh man, this is what I want to do. Just cut the skin off of fucking faces and the entire body, have dead skin suit. So she's looking around. They're over there getting high on cocaine, fucking cocaine. Getting high on cocaine. And fucking, but BTK looks over. He's like, oh, wait, I got to fight this guy. Now he's fucking amped the fuck up, dude. He's like, oh, fuck yeah, pumped. So fucking meanwhile, Catherine Knight, she's like, sees the fucking fingernail clippers with the cutter in it. And she's like, I'm going to get him with that. Biden and the hookers, they're out. They done bounced. They're like, I don't want no part of this because they're politicians. They're going to get away with it anyway. Well, he's a politician.
The son of a politician.
Yeah, this whatever. He's getting away with it. He's like, this is getting too sketchy. Let's go. So fucking BTK, he runs over. Catherine already has the fingernail clippers. So all he can do is grab that fucking fleshlight and try to beat Catherine over the head with it. She's like, you hit like a bitch.
Oh, damn.
You hit like a bitch.
Wow.
So
he might have been dressed like a bitch because that was his thing, you know?
And dude, Catherine Knight just pummels him barehanded. Doesn't even need a weapon. Just pummels him.
She was tough, man. She beat men up all the fucking time.
Meticulously takes that motherfucking goddamn fingernail clipper file and just rips his fucking skin off. Dead Skin Mask is playing Mr. Geen. She's looking for him like, Mr. Geen. Fucking done. Game over. Catherine Knight to the end.
Wow. That's pretty brutal. Joey, what's your take on this whole Killer Cage match?
I think Killer Cage match starts, before they can even grab the anal fleshlight, fucking Hunter Biden grabs that to fucking hang out with his fucking hookers while they're doing coke.
That makes sense.
Who the hell else needs the goddamn anal fleshlight except the dude that's going to be getting some pussy in the fucking room? fucking, Dennis Rader, he don't even give a fuck. He'll just use his hands. He don't even fuck the victims. He just fucking masturbates and shit.
Right. True. Well, I mean, fleshlight is a form of masturbation.
That's true. Okay, good call. Anyway, so Hunter got the fleshlight. That's out the fucking way because he's already done stuck it in them hookers every way to Sunday. Dead Skin Mask is just fucking banging off the fucking. We already told y'all that we got the sick Bose speaker system in Hornside Studios at the Killer Cage match.
Right.
So that shit is fucking just wanging and fucking
dead in my dreams.
And it sounds just like Pete was just whispering it into the mic. It was creepy like that. It's the Hornside remix. And Catherine Knight is absolutely, like Chris was saying, Catherine Knight's like, yo, this is my jam. And all of a sudden she fucking gets in the middle of that ring, fucking drops that ass and starts fucking twerking hard. She's like, this is my jam, mate. This is my jam, mate. And she's fucking going off. And then she gets the hookers because they're all fucking horned out and fucking on cocaine now. She's like, hey, Hunter Biden's hookers, come twerk it, mate. And they're all twerking to Slayer, and it's a twerk fest in the goddamn Killer Cage match. And fucking Dennis Rader's like, what in the fuck is going on? And everybody anticipated that Catherine Knight was going to get those fucking toenail clippers and skin up Dennis Rader.
Right.
The problem is that while Catherine Knight's twerking her fucking fat, gnarly ass fucking on the fucking floor of the goddamn Killer Cage match, Dennis Rader grabbed those toenail clippers, but they're not just human toenail clippers, they're fucking polar bear toenail clippers, and they're fucking big, and he skins the fuck out of her with those.
Damn.
And he hangs her skin up on the fucking side of the cage match like fucking Silence of the Lambs style.
Oh, nice.
You gave it to Rader.
Wow.
I gave it to Rader.
I gave the obvious. I like your twist. I came with the obvious.
No, those are great.
Yeah,
those
nice.
are great. Yeah, definitely love some Killer Cage match. But I was really happy to see Dead Skin Mask. It just fit the whole thing going on. It was just perfect. Yeah. So very cool. That's why our listeners love some Killer Cage match. I'm finishing up the last story for Creation of Chaos 4 about Countess Bathory, as I mentioned. Met with Brian Usual last night on Zoom, and he's got a really good concept for the cover, the poster, and bookmark. I plan to have the book out by late summer, hopefully by August 1st. Once I'm taking advance orders, I'll let you guys know. I'm going to have some perks. I might do it like Jeff Ignatowski did with the way he did it with the crowdfunder. But you get the book and stuff. It's just you're like advanced ordering it basically. So might do something like that. But nonetheless, you'll hear about it. You can get all my other books though. PeteAltieri.com. I'll link to that in the episode description. Got a store there and some free samples. You can read shit if you want and check it out first before you buy it. MurderMetalMayhem.com. Mentioned that before. Great online store there. You get 2 different kinds of t-shirts while the original ones are down to the last few. The zombie shirts are killer. The die-cut stickers, Joey, you mentioned those earlier. Those are amazing. And then our activity book. So we've got some stuff on there. And the 666 Club. You can join right from the store. Also, we mentioned our YouTube channel. Go check that out. Subscribe. We do post content on there usually every couple weeks. I try to do it as often as I can. I do a lot of the band stuff, the interviews I've done, and the one Joey did with stabbings on there. So there's some good content. So go check that out. I'll link to that in the episode description. And I think we've done plenty of mayhem tonight, guys. So let's hit the outro. I appreciate you indulging me. That Bathory, I played an extra long clip of Born for Burning, the first Bathory song I ever heard. It kind of freaked me out because that was like coming off of Judas Priest and then hearing some shit like that. You know, it was kind of wild.
I was like, oh, this.
So
makes me
listening
feel-
to that, listening to the Countess Bathory track, which I would have heard around the same time, it just brings back a lot of memories. So I just wanted to play that extra long clip of that. It's just such a good one. So 1985 that came out, and that was, you know, before anybody knew that Bathory was one person, because I had never heard of a band like that before. So that was another thing that I'd never. Right. Once I found that out, I'm like, wow, that guy's playing all those instruments. Like, it's not like it's any virtuoso, but still, you know, to be able to do that. So pretty interesting person, and he's, you know, been gone for quite a while now, but that would have been a good, you know, metal feature, do Quarthon, man. That'd probably be a cool story. Big thanks to Jeff Ignatowski for coming on with us tonight. Always fun to have him on, guys. You know,
Jeff's fucking great, dude.
Yeah, and he's going to be a regular, just like Tex and Shane. We're going to have Jeff coming on other episodes. So
I like having Jeff on. He's got his own insight on things, and shit, and it's very like, all right, cool.
Really,
always
good.
having another thing to like think about, like why stuff happened, or
I agree. Another perspective. And he's got that Scorpion Lair Games website. I'll link to that in the episode description so you guys can get a hold of that to get Killers the Card Game and the other stuff he's got going on. Bumper music tonight, Joey. Who did we play?
Chronicle, Venom, and Bathory.
Fuck yeah, man. Some new school and some old school tonight. Metal segment intro, Chris.
Always fucking great metal motherfucker. Chrysix.
Hell yeah.
Chrysix fucking... I think they pre-wrote that song for our homie.
I think so too. And Murder Metal Mayhem's intro, Crawl Space by Low 12. Thanks you guys for listening. We really appreciate it. This was a big week, hit past the 5,000 mark, so that's awesome. And we appreciate it very much. And Chris, we got a few listeners that gave us some good comments here.
First of all, we have Gertrude Knowles says, you guys crack me the fuck up every week. So damn funny and real informative. I love the Pink Giant episode. That was the most bizarre true crime I've heard.
Yeah.
That's crazy shit.
Yeah. Pooping in panties.
Poop.
So,
all the poop.
Very fucked up. Thanks, Gertrude. All right, Joey, what about that second one?
Robin Kills Batman says, listening to you in Denver for the past 3 years. Everyone's better than the last one before it. I'm originally from Winnipeg and love the Canadian episodes the best.
Hell yeah.
And Shane sounds really hot.
Oh,
well, thanks.
Damn.
Thanks, dude. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know, Robin, if you're male or female, but we appreciate you saying Shane sounds pretty fucking hot. So, Barbie Doll Bitches 666. I love that one. Fuck all the posers. I love hearing bands you guys play. Most of it is indie, unsigned shit, which I love the best. Thanks for all the great suggestions. I really liked In Malice's Wake and Killing the best so far. I'm in the army stationed in Germany. So fuck yeah. Very cool. And then Chris, what about that last one?
Sal Carbino. I hope I pronounced that right.
You probably don't want to pick on Sal Carbino, I'm thinking, Chris, you know.
I'll do what I want.
He could be scary. This sounds...
As long as I don't get a mafia hit put out on me, I'll be all right, dude.
No, Sal sounds like a good dude. What's he say, Chris?
Sal Carbino says, you guys crack me up with all the Goodfellas references. See, Sal Carbino. But yeah, fucking he says, I'm in Newark. I love what you guys do. It's my favorite podcast without comparison.
Yeah, Newark, man. That's a tough neighborhood. So thank you, Sal. Appreciate it, man. And I'm glad you love the Goodfellas shit. Of course, with my last name, you know, I can totally relate, which makes it so much fun. All right, pick up my latest book, Slab of Sickness, Terror on the Tracks. Check the episode description for a way to get a hold of that. Free poster and bookmark, PeteAltieri.com. Check out MurderMetalMayhem.com. I've been mentioning that. It's a great website and a way to get a hold of us and buy some merch to help support what we're doing. Joey's distro. Joey, we got a link to that in the episode description, so they can get a hold of you there.
Buy some merch from me too.
That's right.
Shit.
Buy that shit.
And like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Patreon. We appreciate it. Join that 666 Club. We're not going to let him go, though, without hearing a karaoke song, a little blast from the past, so crank this one up. And until next time, keep one foot in the gutter.
And just keep rubbing one out in a bathtub full of blood. God damn, it's good.
Every night in my dreams, I see you, I feel you. That is how I know you. Go on. Far across the distance and spaces between us, you have come to show you. Go on. Near, far, wherever you are, I believe that the heart does go on. Once more, you open the door and you're hearing my heart, and my heart will go on and on. Love can touch us one time and last for a lifetime and never let go till we're gone. Love was when I loved you. One true time I hold to in my life will always go on. Near, far, wherever you are, I believe that the heart does go on. Once more, you open the door and you're hearing my heart, and my heart will go on and on. You're here. There's nothing I fear, and I know that my heart will go on. We'll stay forever this way. You are safe in my heart, and my heart will go on and on.
Mother, mother, Man.